We are not a party in the ordinary sense of the word. We are a rally. We are a movement of and for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We are the People's National Movement. And today, we are excited to welcome you as we officially commission the PNM's Central Regional Office, located at the corner of Chrissy Terrace and Southern Main Road, Chagaunas. This is the first formal launch of a series of PNM regional offices that are being established across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. We are a party of all and for all, and we are thrilled to invite you to share this exciting experience with us.
Well, this is an important step by the PNM. We have to service candidates, we have to support constituencies, we have to distribute material, hold meetings. So this is an important center where we could reach all those constituencies that sometimes are difficult to reach. We don't have to go into Port of Spain for everything. People don't have to go into Port of Spain. Today, Port of Spain has come to us, and I hope that the party continues to come down to Central Trinidad. We are open and available for the party's business.
The building is important because it sends a signal that the PNM is alive and well in Central Trinidad, but more so in this particular constituency because it's just on the main, and it signals to Chagaunas East that the PNM is on its road to victory 2020.
For this special opening, there were performances by I Sasha, Rishi Singh, Sally Sagram. We have remarks by the party chairman, Honorable Colm Imbut, as well as from the PNM's prospective candidate for Chagaunas East, Senator the Honorable Clarence Rambarath. Our political leader, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, whose vision it was to establish these regional offices, will deliver the feature address. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the company of the People's National Movement.
Political leader of the People's National Movement and Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, other members of the leadership of the PNM, members of the Chagaunas East constituency in particular, members of the PNM at large, my cabinet colleagues, members of parliament, well-wishers, friends, supporters, members of the clergy, members of the media. This is a historic day. This facility, I have to say, fantastic. I am overwhelmed at the facilities that I see before me. This facility, which will serve both as the central regional office of the People's National Movement and the campaign office of the winning candidate for the PNM in Chagaunas East, Mr. Rambarath, it's the first time that the People's National Movement has established a regional office of this stature in this part of Trinidad. It proves that the PNM is, as our public relations officer just pointed out, is a movement for all, cutting across all races, religions, classes. We are truly the People's National Movement. And one of the reasons why we have established this office here is we think it is important and the time is ripe for us to underscore how much we value the people of Central Trinidad, how important we think it is to have an office in Central Trinidad so people of this area and the surrounding areas can access the PNM right on their doorstep, as it were, here on the Southern Main Road, the corner of Chrissy Terrace and the Southern Main Road in Enterprise. The younger among us, as I was telling the General Secretary, the youngest among us call this the Enterprise Main Road. It's really the Southern Main Road Enterprise. But we are now on the corner, let's call it the Enterprise Main Road and Chrissy Terrace. This will be a beacon for your party and for our party in the years to come, and I expect great things to come out of this office. Great things, great things. And this is truly a representation of how we feel our ardent supporters. We have thousands of supporters in Central Trinidad. One of the things about the PNM, we contest every single seat in general and local elections. We don't make joke. That's our record. That's our proud history. And when you look at the record of the People's National Movement, particularly in Central Trinidad, you will see that we've been growing from strength to strength every year. And this year and next year will be no exception. We intend to solidify our support and grow our support in Central and show to the people of Central Trinidad that we are truly a national party. So as chairman of the PNM, it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you here, well-wishers and supporters, members all. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you here, and let's make this Central Regional Office and this campaign office for Chagaunas East truly a magnificent undertaking. Thank you.
I think we could do better than that for our party chairman, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Carl Mimbert, Member of Parliament for Diego Martin North East. Ladies and gentlemen, you will remember him from several PNM political platforms. He has an exciting and fiery piece that we all love. Let's welcome Mr. Rishi Singh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you all are happy to be here this afternoon, you all put your hands together and give yourselves a round of applause. Somebody say, yeah, yeah. Let's do this. Everybody, come on, put your hands together. Everybody. Anybody from Central? Come on, do so. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Put your hands up, hands up. Hey! Sing with me. Lotela, come on, Lotela. Lotela, come on, Lotela. Hey, Lote Bauji. Everybody, Lote Bauji, Lote. Come on, Lotela. Everybody, clap your hands. Come on. Come on. Everybody. Come on, Lotela, clap your hands. If you love the PNM, hands together, hands together. All are looking nice. Hey, let me go. Bhaiyan Bauji, बारात में बहले, भाइयों बौजी यहाँ बारात में बहले. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Everybody, do so. Bye bye, bye bye. भाइयों बौजी, बारात में बहली, भाइयों बौजी, बारात में बहली. Dance बजावे बौजी कुमलो तेला, dance बजावे बौजी कुमलो तेला. Sing, ए लोटे बौजी. Aha, lote bauji lote, come lote la, e lote bauji. Aha, lote bauji lote, come lote la. If you love the PNM, put your right hand in the air. If you love Dr. Rowley, somebody say yeah, yeah. Hands up, right there. Hey. Bhaiyan bauji, barat mein bheli. Bhaiyan bauji yahan. Everybody, hands together. Let me go. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Clap your hands right there. Clap your hands. If you love Trinidad, hands up. Bhaiyan bauji, barat mein bheli. Bhaiyan bauji, barat mein bheli. Dance bajawe, bauji kumalo tela. Dance bajawe, bauji kumalo tela. E lote bauji. Aha, lote bauji lote, come lote la. E lote bauji, aha, lote bauji lote. Come on, if you're supporting the PNM more than 5 years now, more than 10 years, put your two hands in the air for me right now. If you believe in God right now, if you're ready for the next 5, 10, 15 years, put your hands up in the air. Somebody say yeah, yeah. Love you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh is red and ready, and so are we, Chagaunas East. Up next is your prospective candidate for the constituency of Chagaunas East. He currently serves in the upper house of Parliament as a senator and in the cabinet as the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. One of the most humble, down-to-earth and efficient men you will ever meet. Let's welcome the Honourable Clarence Rambaran.
PNM family, tell me are you ready? To build back a country. We forward with King Rowley. Where are you ready there? Let's do this. Chagaunas, are you ready there?
Political leader of the People's National Movement and Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, Chairman of the People's National Movement and my colleague, Minister Colum Imbert, members of the Executive of the People's National Movement, newly elected constituency executive of my constituency, Chagaunas East, representatives of all the constituencies of Trinidad and Tobago who are here today. I want to especially welcome all those people who have been opposed to the People's National Movement, but who have already signaled to me that they intend to join us in this battle in central Trinidad. Do not take it lightly when the PNM says every so often that we have contested every seat, every district, in every election in this country since 1956. Let me tell you what that means. It means that the people who have been opposed to us since 1956 have decided whether they wish to contest in Trinidad only, or whether they wish to contest in Tobago only. They have decided whether they wish to contest in general elections only. And in some cases, some of them have decided to fight us in municipal or local government or county council elections only. Some of them have decided to fight the PNM in one seat and in a few seats. So everybody who has been opposed to us have been people of convenience. But the People's National Movement is here for Trinidad and Tobago when it's convenient and when it's inconvenient. The People's National Movement has been here for this country, representing. So when people ask me about the people who I am up against, I say to them, I never know who I am going to be up against because people choose whether they want to fight the PNM or they don't want to fight the PNM. Well, we've already signaled that we'll be fighting everywhere, including Chagaunas East. And I have already signaled to my party that I'm prepared to represent you and fight the best fight that we'll ever fight in this constituency. But I want to tell you this, members of the PNM, our fight is not in electoral districts. Our fight is not in municipalities. Our fight is not in constituencies. The fight the People's National Movement is up against is a fight in our hearts and in our minds. There are people who want us to believe that the People's National Movement is not the very best thing for this country. There are people who want you to believe that this party has not looked after your interest. But I want to tell you today, do not align yourself with people for whom battles are convenient. Remain with our party, 63 years strong. You know we'll be fighting in every district. You know we'll be fighting in Tobago and in Trinidad. And most importantly, you know we'll be fighting hard and winning in Chagaunas East. Welcome to Central Trinidad. Welcome to a place that I've lived before and I know well. And welcome to a place that has found a new breath, a new life, new leadership. And we've signaled here today to everybody in Trinidad and Tobago that the PNM is here to fight and here to stay. Thank you very much.
PNM family, tell me are you ready? To build back a country. We forward with King Rowley.
Chagaunas East, let's hear it one more time for your next member of Parliament. representation is coming your way. The Honorable Clarence Rambarath. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep cheering and keep giving your rounds of applause as we welcome the Amitav Ship Shakti dancers as they grace our stage here at our Central Regional Office.
Yay. Oh, oh. Yeah, man. Now I see the struggle through our pride, and I see the passion in our eyes. It's a culture that could never be replaced. No, now all of the colors in the sky, keep them flying, keep them high, is a piece of history from all creeds and races. So, oh, 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 I want to go where the music lives. Oh, oh, and only soca could feel like this. Oh, oh, it's like a throw all my stress away. Oh, and it's there I want to stay with you, and only you. Right there I want to stay with you, and only you. Right there I want to stay with you, and only you. Right there I want to stay with you, stay with you. So I'm on the way, 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 on the way right now, on the way, 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 on the way right now, on the way, 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 on the way to you. It's the way the drums just talk to me. I feel like it's the strongest connection, or maybe the way the music does play. I will follow it in any direction. I was born in the perfect place. It's way more than natural selection. So anywhere soca music is, I will be there. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. I want to go where the music lives. Oh, oh. And only you make me feel like this. This I could throw all my stress away. And it's there I want to stay with you, and only you. Right there I want to stay with you, and only you. Right there I want to stay with you, and only you. Right there I want to stay with you, stay with you. So I'm on the way, 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 on the way right now, on the way, 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 on the way right now, on the way, 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 on the way to you, on the way to you, on my way to you, on my way, on my way, on my way to you. So I'm on.
People of Central, that the PNM is a growing party. It's an old party, but it's expanding by the involvement of the younger people. So with this building here now, we need to get the youth in the area involved so that they can come and they can learn more about the country, learn more about the government, and learn more about the parties.
I was the first person to be screened at this building here in Central when they had their first screening, and it was really an honor to be that first person. I want to say to not just the youth of this community, but to everyone of this community, that the People's National Movement is a party that cares. And I want you to take the opportunity that they are right here in your backyard. Come into the office will be open. There's no appointment, you just come in with open arms. Our doors are open to everyone, and don't feel no way, no how. This party is for everybody, and you will see and really feel that joy that I feel as being a family member of this party, the People's National Movement.
Allow me to quote from our political leader, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. Let it be understood to all that another legacy of the PNM and Eric Williams' legacy is to ensure that all people of Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of race, color, creed, class, or social standing, can aspire and achieve to the best of our ability in peace, love, and harmony. That's a PNM legacy. Wouldn't you agree with me, ladies and gentlemen? And we are here in Central Trinidad. And one of the more familiar PNM faces in Central Trinidad is none other than Mr. Lennox Ratansingh. Please, let's welcome to the microphone Mr. Lennox Ratansingh.
PNM people, put your hands together for the central office. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our next speaker. He has been the representative for Diego Martin West since 1991. From that time to now, he has served in several portfolios. One of his portfolios includes political leader of the People's National Movement. As political leader, he had led the party through one of its challenging times. As a leader, he was able to motivate membership and demonstrate to the persons of Trinidad and Tobago that he has the capacity and tenacity to lead this country with a well-abled team. In 2015, he was given another portfolio. He was elected as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Together with his able team, Trinidad and Tobago will move from an old society to a new society. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mason Hall to Whitehall, let us welcome our political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ratansingh. Thank you very much for the welcome, and thank you all very much for coming out this evening in Chagaunas East. Deputy political leaders, party chairman, other party officers, members of council here in Chagaunas, members of the executive in Chagaunas East, Chagaunas West, Couva North, Couva South, Caroni Central, Caroni East, the group of constituencies that we loosely regard as the central constituencies. Today, while not being a red letter day, today is a very important and historic day for us in the PNM. Because not too long ago, just over an hour ago, we concluded the General Council meeting of the People's National Movement, which takes place every month, somewhere in Trinidad and Tobago, usually at Balisier House. But today, for the first time in the history of the People's National Movement, the General Council met in Central Trinidad, here in Chagaunas East. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not by accident. it is by design, but based on a fundamental principle that we are a national party for all the people of Trinidad and Tobago, cutting across race, color, creed, class, or location. We pride ourselves in being able to say that in every election since 1956, whether it's a general election, a local election, a county council election, a THA election, a by-election, we of the PNM have provided a candidate in every district and have contested every election since 1956, a record that no other gathering can aspire to or can lay claim to. And that, ladies and gentlemen, more than anything else, demonstrates our commitment to serving at every level, in every location in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a little older than many of you here in this gathering, so you didn't have the pleasure of being there on election night when PNM, through Manik Ramsaran, who passed away recently, won the constituency here in central Trinidad and Tobago, a PNM victory that we will never forget. And of course, another occasion when nobody else wanted to contest and serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and only the PNM went to the polls, the PNM won every seat in every constituency in Trinidad and Tobago, and there we represented Central Trinidad. In the local election, we have done very well in recent times and have been doing better. Putting down this marker today in this regional office in preparation for our participation in the incoming elections, local and general, it says once again that the PNM is prepared to contest in every part of Trinidad and Tobago, and today we say especially in central Trinidad. I know we have opponents for whom some of the seats that we have won in recent elections are viewed as marginal constituencies. They have a category called marginal, and it only makes me laugh. Seats that we have won by 3,000 votes to them are marginal. But seats that they have won by 1,000 votes or by 500 votes, they're not marginal. So today, we want to send a message to everybody. Every seat in Trinidad and Tobago is targeted by the People's National Movement. And the only reason why you're hearing such frequent mention of Chagaunas East here this afternoon is because this facility is located in Chagaunas East, and we have already screened the candidate and has put a candidate on the ground in Chagaunas East. But we are equally eager in Chagaunas West, Couva South, Couva North, Caroni Central, Caroni East, and all the constituencies in central Trinidad. There will be a formidable PNM standard bearer. But what is this time that we are in? It's a time when the new executive of the PNM has come to this area, found a location, painted our color, and raised our standard on the main road here in Montrose. Joining by officialdom, bringing our administration to the people of central Trinidad, and you are free to call this building Balisier House, Central Trinidad, Balisier House, Chagaunas East, because there'll be a lot of Balisiers on display here. I want to thank all of those who were involved in this execution to have brought us here today to conduct the important business of General Council and the more important business of opening this campaign office here today. The time that we are in is a time that requires us to be cognizant of what is Trinidad and Tobago and who we are. You see, there's an African proverb that says, the story of the hunt is not fully told unless and until it is told by the lion. There are those who view themselves as hunters, and it's only their story should be told. Well, today, the story of Trinidad and Tobago is to be told from today going forward. not by those who tell you that we are a failed state, because that may suit the agenda of some people. It may suit the conversation of some people. First, it's not the truth, and secondly, it does not suit you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for any voice of any station to paint our effort as failed state. I resent that, ladies and gentlemen. I resent it. And let me just walk you through very quickly who we are and what we are doing here in Trinidad and Tobago. First and foremost, let the record show that Trinidad and Tobago has a strong and functioning government in this country. A government that has won an election in difficult times, won handsomely, and has taken responsibility for the state of affairs in the country. We have a functioning parliament which currently is on recess, which has not been in the parliament building for years, but in a few months under this administration, this functioning parliament will return to the Red House in the capital city of Port of Spain. We have a judiciary which is functioning without interference, and that judiciary has been seeing in recent times improved policies and programs and systems geared towards improving the dispensing of justice in Trinidad and Tobago. All over this country, from Charlottesville, Roxborough, to Cedars, to Carnage, to here in central Trinidad, all over this country, healthcare is delivered on a daily basis, an hourly basis to all our citizens, free of charge in hospitals and health centers and health visitors across this country. And as I speak to you now in this country, we are currently we are opening one hospital in Couva. We are about to open one in Point Fortin in a few months, and also in Arima, brand new hospitals. I've just turned the sod for a new hospital in Roxborough, and in a few weeks, I'll be turning the sod for a new hospital in Sangre Grande. That is to ensure that the people of this country continue to have not just healthcare delivery, but modern standards of healthcare delivery on an improved basis. Where is the failed state in that? We are on school holidays now. Every school in this country where free secondary and primary education is available, and 2 universities funded by the people of Trinidad and Tobago provide educational opportunities where teachers go to work every day. And of course, it's an insult to them as they put forward their effort to ensure that our children are educated wherever they are, that their effort is viewed as that of failure. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, in our national budget, we continue to provide payments in the form of cash to the tune of $4 billion every year for pensions and social support systems, servicing those who are least able to help themselves. There are many people in this country who rely entirely on those payments for their sustenance and the sustenance of their families, I dare say. And that, ladies and gentlemen, might not be important to some, but that is important to us in the government to make sure that those payments are available so that you can continue to live a life of dignity in Trinidad and Tobago. On the national security, we have a functioning police service with about approximately 8,000 officers and an expanded national security system that is fighting a persistent crime problem and a criminal element which will not respect this party, that party, or even you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, requiring to be fought on an ongoing basis every day of the year, every month of the year, and this is what we do to protect our safety and our security. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you, with respect to infrastructure, we own an airline that flies us to metropolitan states, to capitals abroad. We own Caribbean Airlines that take us to Tobago in a subsidized way, where Tobagonians can come to Trinidad and Trinidadians can go to Tobago, 5 planes flying continuously every day of the year. We have 3 ferries, 2 passenger ferries and 1 cargo ferry sailing every single day between our 2 islands. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have just restructured our oil company, creating new companies to put us in a better position than we were in before this government came into office. And ladies and gentlemen, our national gas company, which had suffered a severe blow and was on the verge of bankruptcy, is today reporting improved performance with significant profits. Our economy, ladies and gentlemen, is going through challenging times. There were those who, for the first 2 years of this government's life, were convinced that the government would collapse as the economy collapsed. They were wishing that our economy would have collapsed, because we reported to you that when we started out in this government, we had money to run the country for 3 days, but we had bills to pay, we had foreign debt to pay, we had public servants to pay every month, and we had monies to pay for all the requirements of a government that is always looking out for its citizens. I can report to you today, 1 month away from 4 years in office, that the economy has not collapsed. You have not worked and not been paid, and our public debt has been paid, and our economy is on the mend. And as we do that, we told you that we lost $20 billion a year from our main revenue stream in oil and gas. And as we had lost that kind of revenue, we were still required to maintain what I've just told you there, to maintain the health system, to maintain the education system, to maintain the national security system. And we've done that, ladies and gentlemen, managing our debt and managing our revenue. And Trinidad and Tobago today is a much happier place than when I took this oath of office on the 9th of September 2015. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as we do that, going in the right direction, acknowledging still that we have problems and we have problems to solve, it is against that background that we are being told that we are a failed state. Whose story is that? Whose story is that? It certainly is not your story here in Central Trinidad, because you are about the most prosperous part of this whole nation. It certainly isn't the story of the PNM. It certainly isn't the story of the men and women who are working in the oil industry, offshore and onshore, fighting in an international business to make sure that we stay competitive. It surely is not the story of the doctors and nurses inside the hospital who are saving lives and issuing health care on a 24-hour basis. It sure is not the story of the policemen and women who put their lives on the line to face down criminals who are armed with automatic weapons and who will kill them at the blink of an eye. It is the story of those who profit most from what this country has to offer. And I take umbrage at them labeling our country, for those of you in the country who don't know better, and for those outside who would look at us to be told that all our effort here in Trinidad and Tobago is that amounting to that of a failed state. We in Trinidad and Tobago, ladies and gentlemen, we know our difficulty and we know our path, and we travel along that road with boundless faith in our destiny. We know that we have to do what has to be done, come fair weather or foul. We know that we have to make Trinidad and Tobago succeed, and that is what this government has done. As I speak to you now, the banks are doing better than they were doing in 2015. The manufacturing sector is still manufacturing and going to markets abroad, assisted by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We, ladies and gentlemen, are encouraging persons in this country to have both feet in this country, to put your hands to the wheel, because the future of this country is a bright one if we all do what we have to do at our individual stations. But I know as Prime Minister that I don't make friends in certain quarters, because there are some things that you are required to do to please some people, but if you don't do those things, you make enemies. But I know I work for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and my view is that the vast majority of people in Trinidad and Tobago are decent, right-thinking people, and they will see a government that is working for all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. In that very difficult situation I just mentioned, the loss of revenue, you have a Minister of Finance who has managed our affairs and maintaining inflation at 1%. Ladies and gentlemen, in better times with better resources available, we didn't achieve that. We have maintained our public debt arrangements. Recently, in the restructuring of Petrotrin, when this country was facing massive downgrade, we had to refinance the Petrotrin debt to the tune of $850 million, going to the international banking community with our record of performance as our only recommendation to raise $850 million to pay this month. The money was due. And your government, your Minister of Finance, your cabinet, and the board of Petrotrin worked together, and that problem has been solved. Does that sound to you like a failed state problem? Does that sound to you like a failed state? It sounds to you like a state that is functioning, fixing its problems, and looking out for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the most profitable sectors in this country is the banking sector. The banking sector. And those who are calling us failed state, they have a bank. They have a bank. Profiting in the improvements of the state. There are people in this country earning $100 million a month in profit from the same failed state. Question is, who is this state for? Who is it for? One of the problems and one of the recommendations that has been put to us relentlessly since we became government is that yes, we all acknowledge what you all are saying, that we are in this problem. The collapse of the revenue side is no secret. So the way to deal with it, is to devalue the currency. The recommendation that we've been facing from day one, that the Minister of Finance has been facing from his advisors, official and unofficial, and may I say unofficial, because there is a simple mathematics that if you devalue the currency, you will get more Trinidad and Tobago dollars, and then you will pay it out, Trinidad and Tobago dollars, and whatever foreign currency you have would have worked for the country in that way. But let me explain to you, especially you, the poor people in Trinidad and Tobago. If you consider yourself a poor person or a person who is not wealthy, let me explain to you what devaluation is. It means that the US dollars that are available have a certain value against the Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Currently, it's just under 7 to 1, 685. Let's say roughly it is 7 because some people are buying it at 7. Let's, for ease of argument, use 7. If you have $3 billion, as there is in the private sector in this country, private sector people own in this country 3 billion approximately, a minimum of 3 billion US dollars. That is worth 21 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars. 3 billion by 7, that's 21. If the advice as is given to us is taken to devalue that currency from 6 to 8, that is a 33% devaluation. It means that the US dollar that is in hand will be worth to the owner 33% more, and it means that those who have Trinidad and Tobago dollars or Trinidad and Tobago's bills to pay, their cost will go up by minimum 33% because their Trinidad and Tobago dollar business will be worth 33% less. Meaning that the person with $3 billion by 7, 21 billion, if you add a 1/3 devaluation on that, that's a $7 billion. So their worth in Trinidad and Tobago dollars will move from 21 billion to 28 billion. And worse, Some are pounding us and telling us that we must devalue it to 10 to 1, meaning a 50% devaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, if we do anything like that, what's going to happen? So 3 billion, 21 billion, if it goes down by a third, but if it goes by 50%, what is that? What is 3 billion by 10? That is 30 billion. So immediately, the $21 billion worth of Trinidad and Tobago dollars become $30 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars. So immediately, any decision by the Minister of Finance to do any of those things would make those who have been hoarding Trinidad and Tobago US dollars, they automatically get billions of dollars. And of course, much of the US dollars that is being hoarded in this country is put there by the central bank to maintain the current exchange rate. For those of you who have US dollars, a devaluation that has been demanded from the government is good business for you. But for those of you who don't have US dollars and you live on Trinidad and Tobago dollars, a devaluation as is being demanded by some is danger to you, because you will immediately become impoverished, and of course you may find yourself not being able to deal with the price increases that will follow. This government came into office not to be beholden to any group or groups of persons. We are beholden to the population of Trinidad and Tobago's best interests. And that is why from day one, we have said, given what we are facing, given what we have, given what we don't have, we will manage this country's affairs with an exchange rate as have been managed by the Minister of Finance for the last 4 years. You think we made many friends doing that? You think we made many friends doing that? So usually, when you see certain arguments being put forward, and when you see the relentless attack on the government and personnel in the government, it has nothing to do with any fact of any assessment of the government or the person. There are much deeper issues which you on the pavement and you at home in your house have no idea what the undercurrents are. And the only agency that is facing that is the government, and the only people who have all those stories is the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. I just gave you one example of what they want of the government. And if you don't give us that, you are the worst. And relentlessly, they will pursue their interests, not giving a dime about the interests of the wider national community. I'm sure all of you know that a devaluation means when you go to the store to buy clothing or to buy food or to pay transportation, a devaluation means greater expenses for the same item. And this government that has managed your affairs without any significant devaluation in the currency has done the best thing for you, the poor people of Trinidad and Tobago. It has maintained your ability to keep a certain value on your earnings and on your worth. And if it offends some people, chew pool. Ladies and gentlemen, last night I had the opportunity of being in the Savannah, where Trinidad and Tobago is hosting CARICOM at CARIFESTA. I will encourage all of you to look at the program and visit the CARIFESTA, and you'll be proud of your country as the host nation hosting the CARIFESTA of 2019, CARIFESTA 14. We are not to be trifled with. We accept our responsibility and we present our country proudly, and I dare say, like our athletes who represented us recently in Lima at the Pan Am Games, like those who represented us at the World Championships, like those who are now representing us all over the world. I don't know about the rest of them. I know about you and I know about me. We are proud of the red, white, and black. We are proud of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned to you a while ago the question of the availability of healthcare in this country. There are thousands of procedures that take place throughout the health system on a daily basis. You don't hear or know about most of those. The way the news is carried and the way we react, every so often something goes wrong with an individual or a process or a procedure in a hospital here or there, and we judge the whole healthcare by that. The same way we judge the whole country by the number of murders. We define ourselves by the number of murders. And as a result of that, we have people telling us, wraparound front page headline about crime and murders, that we are a failed state. Yes, we have a problem with crime and criminality. Yes, we have an unacceptable murder level, but that is only one part of the many parts of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We are not all murderers. We are here fighting criminality, and by God, we will win that fight against those bad children. Let me give you another example. In 2015, we were failing our millennium goal with respect to maternal mortality at our hospitals. We were required to have a certain reduction by 2015. We were failing that. In 2015, we were required to have a 75% reduction in mortality. It wasn't there by 2015. But we appointed and established a directorate of women's health in the healthcare system. We established a directorate of women's health because this whole question of minimizing the loss of women's life at childbirth was important to us, to this government. And I can tell you, we have in the period of this administration, in this country's record now, that we have reduced the number of mortality at birth from 65 per 100,000 to under 30 per 100,000. That is a remarkable achievement at the health system. Does that sound to you like a failed state accomplishment? Ladies and gentlemen, neonatal births, that means loss of babies at birth or soon after birth. We were 12.6%. Having focused on it in our healthcare system, the same healthcare system I just mentioned, the one that you all love to badmouth, we are now down to under 7%. And nobody gives credit to those who have done that, those in the healthcare delivery in the hospitals, and the government that has made it possible for them to deliver that level of healthcare. Because all we seem to want to do is to focus on the negatives of this country. And those who call you out to do that, I'm asking you to reject that approach completely, because there's more to Trinidad and Tobago than the negatives that they trade in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you focus only on the negatives, you would have lost the hope that our independence brought to us. A hope that we could run this country in such a way that whatever potential the country has, we with the responsibility will go forward and realize that potential. Nobody ever told us that there wouldn't be problems. Nobody ever promised us a rose garden in which there are no thorns. Nobody ever promised us a living without effort. And nobody ever promised us a good outcome without, first and foremost, the people of this country taking responsibility for the issues of this country. And that is why today, as we report to you on what we have accomplished as a government, how this country is changing for the better, how the people of this country are now away from mortal peril, because, ladies and gentlemen, if their wishes had come true, that we were in fact what they said we were, the economy that we worked with to maintain every single gazetted public servant job in Trinidad and Tobago has been maintained under this government. There has been no policy to treat with our issues which involve retrenchment of workers to reduce the labor force on the public service payroll. We have in fact expanded the arrangements. We gave those at the lowest level of earning an improvement. We moved the tax-free earnings from 60,000 to 72,000, which means that if you were earning 5,000 a month, it was tax-free. We made it 6,000 a month tax-free. That would never form part of the conversation about failed state. Ladies and gentlemen, we gave incentives in agriculture, in tourism, In manufacturing, the harvest is there. Where are the reapers? Where are the reapers? I was talking a moment ago to a cocoa farmer, and I had to say to him, you hear so much about agriculture in this country. The one thing we're short of are farmers. Farmers. Because everybody believes that somebody else must do it. Somebody else must get sweaty. Somebody else must go in the jungle. Somebody else must exercise their muscle. And when they do that, we will have it. But many people who can contribute are being led astray, being given the impression that somebody is denying them something which they are waiting to collect. And therefore, something is bad with the country. There's nothing wrong with the country of Trinidad and Tobago that we cannot fix with the requisite effort. Nothing whatsoever. And there's so much that is right, that if they are allowed to work for those for whom they should be working, we in Trinidad and Tobago will realize the full potential which we encourage as we enter into independence, this being the month of independence. We are standing here, ladies and gentlemen, about to celebrate independence on the 31st of August. I'm sure you know somebody or would have read somebody's statement in one of the papers that what are we celebrating? We have nothing to celebrate. Those are the words of cynics who can contribute nothing to the positive development of Trinidad and Tobago. You know there are people in this country, some of them who just love a good bacchanal. Some of them that love a good old talk. Some of them that love to be the one to bring the bad news. Well, all societies have that, except that we have it a little more than most societies. So you have to understand that in this era of our life, there are people encouraging us not to give truth any station, not to take truth seriously. You know what the handlers of the UNC have published? Some people call Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica, which came into this country to experiment with a certain kind of process of mind games, they have published that what is important is not what people, is not the truth, is what people are made to believe. And let me repeat that for you all. The Cambridge Analytica doctrine, which the UNC is following, is that truth is not what is important. It is what you can make people believe. And that is why today I reject out of hand the labeling of my country, the country that I love so much, that you love. I reject out of hand any attempt to label our effort as that of a failed state. Because if you and your children believe that, you know which road you'll be walking. You'll be walking the road of no hope. You will believe that there's no future, there's no hope, there's no way out. And the cynicism turns to despair. Who wants you to turn to despair? Certainly not the PNM. Who wants you to believe that your country cannot provide you with a quality of life that you aspire to when you were younger, and a quality of life that your children can attain as they aspire to it? Who wants you to do that? Certainly not the PNM. And if you don't focus on the truth and get influenced by what they want you to believe, therein lies the danger and the loss of our future. Today, you have to become fact checkers. You have to become truth tellers. This is a statement I made at the PNM convention in Tobago last year, because it was clear then what was happening to us. There are those who would feed us. There are those who would feed us with their story. And you don't have a television station. You don't have a newspaper. You don't have radio stations to feed lies to this country. What we have is a media that could tell us, using the mechanisms of technology, what is to be told, and what has to be told to us. You have to ensure that that is the truth. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't do that, it will be a straight case of he who have corn feeding more fowl, and you will suffer the indigestion. So ladies and gentlemen, we of the PNM, we have come here in central Trinidad, not in a strange place, as some might think, not in a place unknown to us, because we have always maintained a presence in this part of the country. And I say to you, those of you who don't know the PNM, some of the staunchest PNM supporters are in areas where it is difficult to be PNM, and Central Trinidad has those members. It is easy to be PNM in Diego Martin and Laventil and so on, because those areas are viewed as PNM strongholds. But when you are PNM in Chagaunas East, when you are PNM in Chagaunas West, and you are PNM in Couva South, and areas that the PNM have not been representing in the parliament for a number of years, there are those who believe that you don't belong. But you are the ones who know. It is because you know that the things I've just mentioned are what is important. What is important is, what is the government doing for the country? None of what I mentioned there a while ago about education, health, national security is confined to any single part of the country. It is for the entire country. So we govern on that basis. So whether we win, lose, or draw on election day, we govern for the entire country. So those people supporting our party in this area, where it is difficult to be PNM and to win, what we are saying to you, you are not alone and you're not forgotten, and this office represents the standard in this area. And I want to say to the young people of Central Trinidad, there are those who believe that the decision to be made about a government of Trinidad and Tobago is to be made on race and religion. I say to you here in 2019, August 2019, that is a long time story. You look at what your country is to be, and who is in the best position to deliver the main issues of the country, and that is the People's National Movement. The People's National Movement. We can defend our record in every single area of governmental activity. That has nothing to do with the color of your skin, the nature of your hair, or where you're located. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a new time, a new era. And in this era, the PNM is prepared to carry its responsibility without fear or favor, without malice or ill will, towards the great success that is the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. So, they're calling for election. Elections will come. The elections will come. We have no intention of not calling an election. I happen to have been there when this great party lost a general election for the first time, 33-3. The advice I got then from the know-it-alls was that all you have to change the party name, all you have to change the Balisier symbol if all you want to come back. And I said all we have to do is trust in the good sense of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And 5 years later, there was a PNM government in Trinidad and Tobago. So now we say to the people of Central Trinidad, you've tried the rest. Now select the best, the People's National Movement. And if you have forgotten what the clarion call is, and you haven't been calling it out in Central Trinidad, let me remind you what that call is. It is great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail.
The People's National Movement is an all-inclusive party, it's a great party. Today, look what the People's National Movement do. It's a national party. You understand? Open a Balisier house, the second Balisier house in Central. So it says a lot for this great party, 63 years old.
The PNM has already selected Clarence Rambarat, the Minister of Agriculture. He is the Minister of Agriculture. He is a very, very good candidate. He will represent every single person in this constituency.
So let's do this. Jinbego, are you ready? Be rolling with the Red Army. You're for the love of your country. Place your vote with the PNM family. Jinbego, are you ready? Be rolling with the Red Army. You're for the love of your country. Place your vote with the PNM family. Say, come on, my people, let's stand together underneath the red, white, and black banner, yeah. Burn out corruption. corruption like leaves it a scatter. We tricks and insult the people, they're flattered. The partnership done sink already. We vote them for Dr. Kid Rowley. Red leader right time. I've made up my mind to build back this sweet paradise. Let's do this. Chindego, are you ready? We rolling with the red army. You for the love of your country. Place your vote with the P&M family. Chindego, are you ready? We rolling with the red army. Mr. Abdan. Often boast and say God is a Trinity, a blessed nation, the Caribbean envy. All of a sudden like the place get heavy, things not move right, God not like ugly. Say come on my people, let's do this together. Foot P&M. If you love P&M, let me see some hands in the air like this. Come on the people, the better, brighter days, a beautiful future. Let's do this. Chindego, are you ready? We rolling with the red army. You for the love of your country. Place your vote for the P&M family. Chindego, get ready. We rolling with the red army. You for the love of your country. Make sure you vote for the P&M. Dr. Kid Rowley, a leader phenomenal. The partnership full of pirates and criminal. Send for the doc. The state is critical, searching to perform. And this country's political structure. And he is a doctor we need. 24 years veteran, and born to lead. On the 7th of September, my country a bleed for Dr. Rowley and the P&M. And let's Chindego, are you ready? We rolling with the red army. You for the love of your country. Place your vote for the P&M family. Chindego, get ready. Rolling with the red army. For the love of your country. Place your vote for the P&M family. Central, I love you. P&M family.
I mean, the building will definitely send a clear message that the P&M is alive and well in Central. But more importantly, I believe that every single citizen, especially persons from Central, believes that the People's National Movement is the only opportunity to prudent and effective governance. So I definitely think 2020 and in the local government election will definitely be going full support for the People's National Movement.
A token of our appreciation to the most beloved Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago. We love him dearly, the Honorable Keith Rowley. Been presented a token from the candidate for Chagaunas East, our winning candidate, Clarence Rambarat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Still a long way to go, we gonna get there. Standing side by side. I see the faces, the races, the spaces, the places where we all come from. I see the Indians, the Africans, the Chinese, the Syrians united all as one. We gonna get there, whoa. I say we gonna get there.
Thank you very much, Chagaunas East and the constituencies that make up the Central Bloc. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage to deliver the vote of thanks, Mr. Rajan Rampasad, the coordinator of the Couva North constituency. The coordinator of the Couva South constituency, Mr. Rajan Rampasad.
Good evening all. General Secretary, Prime Minister, political leader of the People's National Movement, Chairman, all members of the executive of the People's National Movement, members of government, and all you wonderful people who are gathered here to give support for the opening of this new Balisier House Central. It has been long deserving, and the time is right, and we have got representation in Central for the People's National Movement. Firstly, I want to say thanks to all of you from the Chagaunas area and the Central area who have contributed in making this opening and this building a success. We want to say special thanks to the Operations Committee headed by Irene Hines and Senator Foster Cummins, hardworking senator who have given his time, and I know this had been a dream project of his to ensure that the people of Central Chagaunas have a home that we can call PNM Balisier House. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to say a special thanks to the foresight of the political leader of the People's National Movement, for it was his vision in ensuring that our party is established and have a presence here in Central, so that all the central groupings, the Couva South, Couva North, Central, Chagaunas East and West, can be represented right here. And to all the young people who are here, this is your home for you to come and get proper political guidance. This is one of the main reasons we have this building here. This building is a very present, represent the beacon of life and the beacon of hope for all the people here in Chagaunas and for all those people in Central Trinidad who have been told by others, the naysayers, that you do not have representation once that you are south of the Caroni River. This building will stand as testament to prove them wrong. This building is going to be the beacon and the light for all the PNM supporters and the PNM family to gather around so that we can have a stronger PNM presence in Central Trinidad. And to our good friend, Clarence Rambarat, this is the beginning of your journey for winning this seat for the People's National Movement. I want to say a special thanks to all of you and to our Prime Minister, our political leader. May God bless him and give him the strength to continue in his good works. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Couva South Coordinator, Mr. Rajan Rampasad. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a fantastic evening, has it not been? Great is the PNM. The PNM is building you a new society, and ladies and gentlemen, we shall prevail.